Hello and welcome to The Data Game. It's the data quiz show that aims to break down the school performance data into what you need to understand as a governor. We'll be asking the questions, what's the relevant information? What questions does this raise? And as a governor, what should you be asking? OK, so let's meet our contestants. We've got two teams of two. Over here on the left, we've got Tinu and Scott, and over here on the right, we've got Anil and Roz. So, Tinu, hello, welcome to the show.
Hello.
And where are you a governor?
I'm a governor at the Barclay Primary School in Waltham Forest.
Yeah, and you're a bit of a statistical whiz, I understand?
I would like to believe so.
OK, but not going to brag about it yet. And,
Yes.
and hello, Scott, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
And where are you a governor?
Rosendale Primary School, West Dulwich.
Very nice, big up to them. OK, and let's go over to the other team. We've got Roz, hello, welcome to the show.
Hi there.
And Roz, you're a governor in, whereabouts are you? Tower Hamlets, is that
I'm
right?
governor in Tower Hamlets and I'm at St Edmund's Roman Catholic Primary School.
Lovely. And hello, Anil. Now, I hear, Anil, that you're a governor in 3 schools.
That's right.
That's a bit greedy, isn't it?
It is, it's big, but then again, I think once you're comfortable with being a governor at one school, you can share your skills and abilities with lots of other schools.
So there's a message for everyone there. Thank you very much, Anil. Our 2 teams, ladies and gentlemen. OK, and also, it's not just me and the teams on the show, of course. We've got our guardian of data. That's right, all the way from Newham. It's Richard Rice. Hello, Richard.
Hello, Tom.
Welcome to the show. You're our expert today, our doyen of data.
I hope to be.
Yeah, but now what do you do?
I'm an assessment advisor for the London Borough of Newham, so I advise on classroom assessment, the interpretation of performance data. I also try and manage performance data within the local authority.
OK, well, thank you very much, our expert, Richard. Now, moving on to round number 1. So, teams, I'm going to ask you some questions that'll have multiple choice answers. You'll have to decide A, B, C or D, in case you're not sure what multiple choice means. OK, teams, does value added measure A, the value for money that the school gives in terms of its results compared to its running costs? B, the progress made by the children who've got results from the prior key stage and the present key stage? Or C, the progress of those children who did the prior key stage and the current key stage in the same school? A few moments there, teams. A bit of pointing from the ladies. Scott and Tinu, you look like you've decided. Oh, they're still discussing.
B.
We've got B over there, and Roz and Anil. What do you think?
We're going for C, actually.
Ooh.
If it's the same school, you can only measure value add on a pupil who goes all the way through.
OK, well, we've got a very precise answer. A very precise answer there. Let's go over to Richard, our expert. B or C?
Well, I'm afraid that Tinu was right, in fact, and it is B.
The children. Debate that.
Sorry, there's no debate. The expert's always right.
The expert has spoken. It doesn't matter whether the previous key stage was done in the school or not. As long as we have key stage results for those children, they're included.
The CVA, or contextual value added, measure does not include A, ethnicity, B, gender, C, Idachi, or D, home language spoken by children. Still some more whispering there.
Can we focus on the quiz, please?
So we've got things to discuss.
Roz and Anil, what do you think?
Well, we think it's home language spoken by children.
Definitely do.
OK. And Tinu and Scott?
D.
You're not cheating.
Agreement
Agreement there. Richard, are they right to agree?
We're back to form. Yes, they're both right. It is D.
OK, well done, team. Both get a point there. Richard, we mentioned the word Idachi there. What's that?
It's an acronym, Tom.
OK.
It stands for Income Deprivation Affecting Children Index. It's another measure of the social deprivation that children face, and it's used alongside eligibility for free school meals as a measure of social deprivation.
Thank you very much, Richard, our expert. OK, well, we've reached the end of the round, and before we have a look at the scores, it's time for everyone's favourite moment, Richard's Rap.
The important thing here is that the governors understand what these acronyms mean and what the measures mean in terms of pupil performance. It's not so important that the governors understand exactly how each individual measure is calculated.
OK, thank you very much, Richard. So know your jargon, that's the lesson there. OK, well, let's have a look at those scores, and we can see that Ros and Anil have 5. There we go. But Tinu and Scott also have 5 points, so it's level pegging after round 1. Contestants, I want to know, how many of these graphs can you decipher? First graph then on your screens, first to buzz in will get to answer. Is the school's Key Stage 2 to 3 attainment above or below the national average? Yes, that was Ros and Anil.
Yeah, we think it's above. Because it's in the
Let's
top
go
25%.
And let's go over to Richard, our expert there.
Well, I'm sorry, Ros and Anil, this is a trick question. This graph, often referred to as a snake plot, isn't telling you anything about attainment at all. It's only telling you about progress as measured by CVA.
OK, well, that was a bit sneaky, Richard.
It was a bit sneaky, I
please
admit.
don't do that again.
I won't.
OK. Looking at first language other there on your screens, how well are they doing? Yes, that was just Scott and Tinu, I'm afraid.
They're above.
Significantly above.
Exactly. They're above the line, and the confidence is, which is represented by the little wings on each dot, doesn't cross the line, therefore they're significantly above. And it's important that we remember this is a contextual value-added measure, so the fact that the first language other children generally do better than that is nationally the case has been taken into account, so it really is significant that the school's done well with this group.
OK, let's move on. How do you think the school should feel about their performance here? Oh, that was Tinu, yes?
Oh, not very happy, in fact. Although it's got positive value added, its performance relatively to the national is below.
OK. Richard, what's your final verdict?
It's very well described. Basically, in this school, the children have made better than national progress, but they've actually achieved worse than national attainment. In terms of the interpretation, I would say that's a fairly good place to be for the school. They know that the pupils are progressing well. They've not yet attained national levels of performance, but they're heading in the right direction.
All right, that's the end of round 2, the picture round. And before we look at the scores, it's time to go over to Richard again for Richard's Wrap.
I think that the important thing here is to remember that when you're looking at a graph, it's just based on tests done by children in May, and it never tells the whole story. The important thing for our governors here is that they should be able to ask the questions that get underneath that data and tell us the real story.
Thank you very much, Richard. OK, let's have a look at the scores. Ros and Anil, at the end of round 2, you've got 6 points, but storming away in the lead, we've got Tinu and Scott with 11 points. Right, hello everyone. I am the head teacher. I've got some headlines for you, so please listen carefully and think of some questions to ask me. OK, headline number 1. The results from boys' writing, 62% of level 4 plus, is worse than the girls, 71% of level 4 plus. Please discuss your questions. OK, teams, I'm going to have to get those bids. Let's go to Tinu and Scott.
4.
4 there, OK. And how about you, Ros and Anil?
Go with the 5. We'll go with the 5.
They're feeling confident. Let's have those 5 questions, please.
Well, classically, you always know that boys don't do quite as well as girls. And that's sort of something you know, but that's quite a big gap, and I would be concerned. I want to be looking at role models for boys, whether there's reading resources as well as writing resources for boys, books about football, that sort of thing in the library to actually pique their interest to write more.
There's also this thing about whether the gender balance even within the school itself. Maybe we need to recruit more male teachers so you have positive role models within the school itself as well. There's this other thing about let's engage the fathers. We need to get the fathers more involved.
And I'd also like to know how many boys in the cohort and how many girls in the cohort, because that's going to swing the results as well.
Got 5 good questions there, Tom.
Oh, you think so? You don't think role models and fathers are the same thing?
Well, there's teachers and parents.
No,
They're
I
two
think a
different
distinction
things.
was made between teachers as role models and fathers as role models.
They're
OK, well,
very
that's the last word from our expert, so 5 points to you, Ros and Anil. Richard, was there anything they missed out there?
Well, again, it's important to ask the question, what's the national difference between boys and girls writing, and are we reflecting that national difference? You can do that by looking at the national data directly, or you can do it by looking at contextual value-added score. However, it's important to remember that even if we find the CVA for the boys is good, we would still want to improve their performance in order to narrow the gap between girls and boys' performance.
Next headline, our targets were not met. We missed by 3% and the trend in results over time has been a downward one. Your questions, please, contestants. OK, and bids, please. Let's go over, first of all, to Tinu and Scott. What's your bid?
Go on, you tell.
You say 4?
Okay.
Yeah.
4? OK, and let's see what Anil and Ros have got to say.
We said 4 as well.
Oh, 4 as well. But Anil and Ros are behind at the moment, so I'm going to give them the first chance to get the 4 points. Anil and Ros, what are your 4 questions?
Well, Tom, initially...
Headmaster.
Sorry, sir.
Okay.
Initially, 3% wouldn't have worried me too much, but the fact that you're talking about a decrease in trends over time, that's my first concern. How long has this been happening for?
Yep. Primarily, then that in conjunction with that, the results are showing that maybe your teaching and learning policy isn't strong enough, and that needs reviewing, and maybe we need to, put some more emphasis on that.
Okay.
Second
and
thing,
third one.
I'd like to look at the cohort. I'd like to look and see if it's perhaps the diminishing cohort on a school that's role is becoming smaller. And I'd also like to look at the children that are within that cohort, whether we have a lot who have got special needs, who are on the register, because that's going to slew the results as well.
Well, expert Richard, what do you think?
There were certainly 4 good ones, so I
OK,
think
we're
they
going
get
to give
their
them
4
the 4
points.
points.
Yes.
All right, for our final headline, Richard, anything they could have added?
Well, all of the measures suggested are very, very good measures, but I think there are a few key questions that need to come before we start asking about resourcing. The first question is, how ambitious were the targets? If they were very ambitious targets, missing them by 3% may well be a good thing rather than a bad thing. Equally, if targets are being missed year on year, we need to look at the robustness of the target setting process within the school. Is it a bottom-up model? Does it really accurately look at what those children are likely to achieve? And is there a realistic programme in place to ensure that those targets are met?
OK, that is the end of the round, the Headmaster's report. And before we have a look at the final scores, let's go over once more to Richard for his wrap.
I think the key themes here that come through is that you've got to get underneath the data. It's important that you understand very clearly the strengths and weaknesses of your school, and it's important our governors understand the strategies that are going to be employed and the way in which the school will monitor them.
How about our Ofsted inspectors?
Ofsted inspectors have access to the same performance data that the governors have access to, and they will make judgments about the school on the basis of that data. The SEF, or self-evaluation form, that is the school's chance to tell the story, to actually paint the picture and make sure that the Ofsted team know what's going on in the school and that they too can see what's behind the data.
Tricky customers, those Ofsted inspectors. And now it's time to go over to Tom for the final scores. Thank you very much, Headmaster. Let's have a look at those final scores. Well, we can see that Tinu and Scott, you finished on 18 points. But our winners today, with 19, they just got there at the end, Anil and Ros. Our winners, ladies and gentlemen. Well done. OK, well, thank you very much, both teams, for taking part in the data game. And thank you very much, Richard, our expert. That was the data game. Goodbye.
The complete kit to run this quiz with your fellow governors can be found on the Teachers TV website.